First contact gone wrong. The stars gleamed through the viewing ports of the human exploration vessel, Endeavour, as it drifted in neutral space. Captain Sarah Chen stood in the conference room, her hands clasped behind her back. Today would change everything. Today, humanity would meet its first alien civilization.
"Captain, they're here," Lieutenant Torres announced from the doorway.
Sarah nodded. She had waited her entire career for this moment. The Galactic Concordat had sent their delegation to meet humanity. Their ship, the Divine Authority, hung in space like a golden palace. It was 10 times larger than the Endeavour, and covered in strange symbols that glowed with purple light. The conference room doors opened. Ambassador Zixtal entered first. He was tall, nearly 8 feet, with blue-gray skin and 4 arms. His eyes were large and completely black. Behind him came 6 guards wearing thick armor and carrying weapons that hummed with energy. "Greetings," Sarah said, extending her hand. She had practiced this 100 times. Zixtal looked at her hand, but did not take it. Instead, he made a gesture with his upper arms. "I am Ambassador Zixtal of the Galactic Concordat."
"You are the humans?" "Yes. I am Captain Sarah Chen."
"Welcome aboard the Endeavour." The meeting began well enough. Sarah explained that humanity had just developed faster-than-light travel. She told Zixtal about Earth, about their desire for peaceful contact. She offered friendship. Zixtal listened with what seemed like patience. Then, he spoke words that changed everything. "Humanity will submit to Concordat protection. You will provide resources. You will follow our laws. This is not a discussion. This is how things are done." Sarah felt her stomach tighten. "Ambassador, we came here for friendship, not to surrender our freedom." "You misunderstand your position. You are weak.
Your ship has no weapons.
Your people are small and soft. The galaxy is dangerous. You need us. We need partners, not masters," Sarah replied firmly. The room fell silent. Sarah's security chief, Marcus Webb, shifted his weight slightly. He was a former Marine, built like a bear. Beside him stood Dr. Lisa Park, the ship's chief engineer, and Lieutenant Torres. All 3 watched the alien guards carefully.
Zixtal made a clicking sound. It might have been laughter.
"You refuse? How foolish." He raised one hand. "Guards, take them. We will bring them to our ship. Their leaders on Earth will be more reasonable when we hold their explorers." The 6 guards moved forward, raising their weapons. They expected the humans to surrender. After all, humans had no weapons. The Endeavour was a science vessel. These were scholars and explorers, not warriors. They were wrong. It happened in seconds. Sarah grabbed the pen from the conference table. It was just a simple metal pen, the kind used for signing documents. As the nearest guard reached for her, she moved. Her hand shot forward and jammed the pen into the joint of his armor, right where the shoulder piece met the chest plate. The guard screamed, a horrible alien sound. His arm went limp. Marcus didn't hesitate. He grabbed the fire extinguisher from the wall mount. The heavy red cylinder became a club in his massive hands. He swung it into the helmet of the second guard. The alien stumbled backward. Marcus pulled the pin and sprayed chemical foam directly into the face of another guard. The alien clawed at his eyes, blinded. Park ran to the wall panel. Her fingers flew across the controls. The conference room's lighting system was designed for presentations. It could create bright flashes for attention. She overrode the safety limits and cranked the power to maximum. "Close your eyes," she shouted. The humans shut their eyes. The lights exploded with brightness. It was like staring at the sun. The alien guards, with their large, sensitive eyes, screamed in pain. They dropped their weapons and covered their faces. Lieutenant Torres grabbed a chair. He swung it like a baseball bat, hitting one guard in the legs. The alien fell hard. Torres jumped on him, using his own body weight to pin the larger creature down. In 30 seconds, it was over. 6 armed guards lay on the floor, groaning in pain or unconscious. 4 unarmed humans stood over them, breathing hard. Sarah picked up one of the alien weapons. She pointed it at Zixtal, who stood frozen in shock. Leave. Now. Tell your Concordat that humans do not submit.
Tell them we came in peace, but we will defend ourselves.
Zixtal backed toward the door. His 4 arms were shaking. You attacked us with...
With nothing? What kind of weapons were those? Marcus held up the fire extinguisher and smiled.
This? It's for putting out fires. Sarah tapped her pen against her palm, and this is for writing. Leave, Ambassador. Don't come back unless you come in peace. The aliens retreated to their ship. Within minutes, the Divine Authority jumped away into faster-than-light travel. Doctor, Park looked at the equipment scattered around the room. A pen.
A fire extinguisher. A chair.
The lighting system. Do you think they'll be back?
Sarah watched the stars where the alien ship had disappeared.
Oh, they'll be back. But next time, they won't underestimate us.
Marcus laughed, still holding the fire extinguisher. Maybe we should put a warning label on this thing.
Caution. Also a weapon in human hands. Viatok. All away. On the Divine Authority, Zixtal sent his report to the Concordat Council. His message was simple but terrifying. The humans are dangerous. They carry no weapons, because they do not need to. They turned office equipment into instruments of war. Request military assessment team immediately. The Concordat Council read his report 3 times. They did not believe it at first. How could a species be dangerous without weapons? They would learn. Humanity was about to teach the galaxy a lesson. In human hands, everything is a weapon. The assessment commander Vextor was not like Ambassador Zixtal. He was a warrior, not a diplomat. His scales were dark red, marked with scars from 100 battles. He commanded the elite Ghost Strike team, the best soldiers in the Concordat military. The ambassador was a fool, Vextor told his squad as their stealth ship approached Mars. He went unprepared. We will not make that mistake. The Concordat Council had given him a simple mission: infiltrate the human military research facility on Mars, assess their weapons technology, and if necessary, destroy it. The Council was worried. If humans could defeat armed guards with office supplies, what could they do with actual military equipment? Vextor studied the holographic display. The facility was called Red Station. It looked ordinary. Simple buildings on the Martian surface. No shields. No obvious defense systems. Intelligence reports said it was a research and storage facility. Too easy, muttered Cox, Vextor's second-in-command. She was smaller but faster, with reflexes that could dodge plasma fire. Stay alert, Vextor ordered. Remember what happened to Zixtal's guards. They landed under cover of Mars's dust storms. The team moved silently toward Red Station. There were 12 of them, each armed with plasma rifles, energy shields, and combat armor that could withstand bullets. They were prepared for war. They cut through an exterior door using molecular dissolvers. The facility's alarms didn't even sound. Inside, they found corridors lined with storage rooms and workshops. Boxes were stacked everywhere. Equipment hung on walls, but Vextor saw no weapons. Where are their super weapons? Asked Drawl, the team's heavy weapons specialist. Vextor examined a storage room. He saw tools, wrenches, hammers, pipes, welding equipment, chemicals in bottles. Nothing that looked dangerous. Keep searching. They must be hidden. What Vextor didn't know was that Red Station's AI had detected them the moment they cut through the door. Silent alarms had already alerted the human security team, and the humans were not running away. They were preparing. Sergeant James Rodriguez led the human response team.
He had 15 people, most of them mechanics and technicians.
None of them carried guns. Red Station was a research facility, not a military base. But James had read the reports from the Endeavor. He knew what was coming. Listen up, James told his team. We've got alien intruders. They have energy weapons and armor. We have what's in this room, so let's get creative. The humans scattered through the facility, grabbing whatever they could find. James picked up a heavy wrench. Maria, a welder, grabbed her welding torch and turned it to maximum heat. Chen took a canister of compressed air. Others grabbed pipes, chains, and bottles of industrial cleaning chemicals. Remember, James said into his radio, hit hard, hit fast, and use the environment. The battle began in Corridor 7. Vexthor's team advanced in formation, their energy shields glowing. They turned a corner and found a human standing in the middle of the hallway. It was Maria, holding her welding torch.
One human?
Cax laughed. Surrender or... A jet of superheated flame shot forward. It didn't penetrate the energy shields, but it blinded the sensors. The aliens stumbled backward, confused. That's when the ambush began. James dropped from a ceiling maintenance hatch, swinging a metal pipe. He brought it down on an alien's helmet with all his strength. The alien fell. Another human threw a net made of cargo webbing. It tangled around two soldiers, and before they could free themselves, humans were on them, beating them with wrenches and hammers. Chen opened the compressed air canister and aimed it at an alien's face. The blast wasn't deadly, but it knocked the alien backward into a wall. Another human had scattered ball bearings across the floor. When aliens tried to advance, their feet slipped. They fell hard in their heavy armor. "Fall back!" Vexthor ordered. His team retreated to a large warehouse room. They set up defensive positions behind crates. "This is impossible," he muttered.
They're using maintenance tools. But the humans weren't done. In the warehouse's control room, a technician named Sarah activated the forklift system.
The heavy machines roared to life, controlled remotely. One forklift charged directly at the alien position. Vexthor's team fired their plasma rifles, but the forklift was just metal and machinery. It crashed into their defensive position, scattering aliens everywhere. Then came the smoke. Humans had mixed cleaning chemicals in bottles and thrown them into the room. Thick, choking smoke filled the air. The aliens' advanced helmets filtered it, but they couldn't see. From the smoke, humans attacked. James appeared behind one alien and jammed a screwdriver into the armor's power pack. Sparks flew. The armor shut down. Maria used her welding torch to cut through another alien's weapon, melting it into useless slag. Drawl, the heavy weapons specialist, found himself facing a human woman holding a nail gun.
He almost laughed. Then she fired.
The nails didn't penetrate his armor, but she wasn't aiming at his armor. She aimed at his weapon's barrel. 3 nails jammed into it. When Drawl tried to fire, his plasma rifle exploded in his hands. Vexthor realized they were losing. His elite team was being defeated by humans with tools. He grabbed Cax and 2 other survivors. Emergency evacuation, now. They ran back to their ship, leaving half their team behind. As they fled, a human threw a chain. It wrapped around one alien's legs. He fell, and humans swarmed over him. Vexthor's ship launched in panic. He looked back at Red Station through the viewport. Humans stood outside, waving tools in the air. One held up a wrench like a trophy. Back on the concorded flagship, Vexthor faced the council. His armor was dented. His pride was shattered. "Report," demanded High Counselor Oram. Vexthor's voice shook. "The humans, they don't need weapons. They turned their entire facility into a weapon." Pipes became spears. Chemicals became smoke bombs. They used forklifts as assault vehicles and welding torches as flamethrowers. "Impossible," Oram said. "I lost 6 soldiers," Vexthor continued. "To wrenches, to nail guns, to compressed air. One human trapped my best warriors using cargo netting and a loading machine." He looked at the council with fear in his eyes. They don't carry weapons because everything around them is a weapon. Their minds are the real danger. The council chamber fell silent. For the first time in their history, the Concordat was afraid of a species that had no army, no warships, and no advanced weapons. They were afraid of human creativity. The doctrine shift. The Concordat High Council chamber was in chaos. Representatives from 40 different worlds shouted at each other. Vexthor's report had spread like fire through the galaxy. Humans were dangerous. Humans turned everything into weapons. Supreme Marshal Kreldar slammed his fist on the podium. He was massive, even for his species, with armor that glowed with rank insignias. "Silence!" His voice boomed through the chamber. "I have heard enough cowardice." The council quieted. Kreldar continued. "An ambassador and a special forces commander, both defeated by primitives? Impossible. They failed because they were weak, not because humans are strong." Young Officer Celeste stood in the back of the chamber. She had reviewed all the recordings from both encounters. She raised her hand. "Marshal, with respect, the evidence shows nothing." Kreldar interrupted. "I will prove that humans are no threat. I will lead our fleet to their colonies and demonstrate proper Concordat strength." High Counselor Orem leaned forward. "What do you propose?" "We attack one human colony. Show them overwhelming force. They will surrender, and this foolish fear will end." Kreldar pointed to a star map. "Here, Titan Station. A mining colony orbiting Saturn. Only 300 humans. No military presence. We will take it in one day." Silas wanted to object, but she was too junior. She watched as the council approved Kreldar's plan. He would take 50 warships, thousands of soldiers, all to crush 300 miners. It was madness. But no one would listen to her. 2 weeks later, Kreldar's fleet arrived at Titan. The colony was built into the moon's icy surface. Mining tunnels ran deep underground. On the surface were habitation domes, processing facilities, and ore haulers. The colony looked peaceful, defenseless. "Attention human colony," Kreldar broadcast. "You have 1 hour to surrender. If you resist, you will be destroyed." Inside Titan Station, Colony Director Marcus Webb, yes, the same Marcus from the Endeavor, smiled grimly. After the first contact incident, he had requested transfer to Titan. He knew the Concordat would come. He had prepared. "Everyone to the tunnels," Marcus ordered. "Operation Homeground is active." The 300 colonists evacuated into the deep mining tunnels. They took everything: food, water, equipment, and weapons. Not guns. They had no guns, but they had mining explosives, industrial tools, ore haulers, and 300 angry humans who were tired of aliens trying to push them around. Kreldar waited an hour. When no surrender came, he ordered the attack. Concordat troops landed in dropships. They wore heavy combat armor and carried enough firepower to level a city. They entered the habitation domes carefully. Empty. All empty. "They ran into the tunnels," reported Squad Leader Vorn. "Like rats." "Then we dig them out," Kreldar ordered. "Send troops into the mining tunnels, and this quickly." The first squad entered Tunnel 7. 20 soldiers in full armor, their weapons ready. The tunnel was dark and cold. They advanced carefully. Then the explosions began. Mining charges, placed carefully along the tunnel walls, detonated in sequence. The tunnel collapsed behind the squad, cutting off their retreat. Ahead, more explosions sealed the tunnel. The soldiers were trapped. From side tunnels, humans emerged. They wore mining suits and carried tools. One swung a pneumatic drill like a sword. Another threw a magnetic clamp that stuck to an alien's armor and released an electrical charge. A third fired a mining laser designed to cut through rock that sliced through armor like paper. The squad was destroyed in minutes. "Report!" Kreldar demanded from his command ship. "Squad 7 is gone, sir."
Tunnel collapsed. We're detecting explosions throughout the colony.
Kreldar sent more troops. More squads disappeared. The humans had turned the entire tunnel network into a trap. They collapsed passages, created dead ends, and ambushed from above and below. They used ore carts as battering rams, rolling them down slopes at high speed to crush alien formations. On the surface, a group of colonists operated the mining equipment remotely. One woman, a 12-year-old named Maya, controlled a mining drone. She had grown up on Titan, playing with these drones since she was 6. She loaded the drone with volatile fuel cells and sent it flying toward a Concordat command walker, a massive war machine bristling with weapons. "Maya, are you sure?" asked her father, standing beside her.
They came to our home, Dad. They want to hurt us.
Maya's finger hovered over the button. "Nobody hurts my home." She pressed it. The drone accelerated, weaving through defensive fire. It slammed into the walker's cockpit and exploded. The walker collapsed, crushing alien troops beneath it. Inside the main habitat dome, Kreldar's elite guard finally cornered a group of 30 humans. The aliens had superior numbers and firepower. Victory seemed certain. But the humans had one advantage. They knew their home. They had spent years working in zero-gravity construction, building Titan Station in Saturn's weak gravity. They wore magnetic boots and carried construction tools. When the aliens entered, the humans shut off the habitat's gravity generators. Everything became weightless. The aliens floated helplessly, their heavy armor now a disadvantage. But humans moved like fish in water. They used thruster packs meant for construction work. They swung welding torches and plasma cutters. They threw tools that spun through the air, like missiles. One human used a rivet gun, a tool for joining metal plates, and fired rivets into alien armor joints. Another swung a wrench on a cable, using it like a medieval flail. The aliens tried to fight back, but they couldn't move properly in zero gravity. Kreldar watched from his ship as his forces fell apart. Elite soldiers defeated by miners, warships useless against an enemy underground. His limited strike had become a disaster. "Marshal," his aide whispered. "We should retreat." "No," Kreldar roared. But he knew it was over. The Concordat fleet withdrew. They left behind 30% of their ground forces, either trapped in collapsed tunnels or captured by colonists. Silas watched the retreat from her station on the flagship. She had tried to warn them. Now she made a decision. She needed to understand these humans. Not to defeat them, to learn from them. When they returned home, Kreldar was executed for his failure. The Concordat was in crisis. Some wanted to destroy humanity completely. Others wanted to build walls around human space, but Silas had a different idea. She requested permission to return to human space, not as a warrior, as a student. The council, desperate for answers, agreed. Everything is a weapon to a human. Part 4. Understanding and Alliance. 6 months after the Titan disaster, Officer Silas arrived at Earth alone. Her small ship landed at the United Nations spaceport in Geneva. She wore no armor, carried no weapons.
She came asking for knowledge. Captain Sarah Chen met her at the landing pad.
The same captain who had fought Ambassador Zixtal with a pen. "Officer Silas, we received your request. Why are you here?"
"To understand. My people are afraid of you."
"Some want war, some want to hide. But I think we're asking the wrong question." "What question should you ask?" Sarah inquired. "Not, how do we defeat you, but how do you think?" Celeste looked directly at Sarah. "Your species sees weapons where we see objects. I need to understand why." Sarah smiled. "Come with me. There's someone you should meet." They traveled to a military academy in Colorado. There, Silas met Colonel James Okafor, a military philosopher and historian. He was an older man with gray hair and kind eyes. His office walls were covered with books and artifacts from human history. "Welcome," James said, offering Silas a chair. "Sarah tells me you want to understand human warfare."
"How can you fight without weapons? It makes no sense."
James picked up a simple ceramic coffee mug from his desk. "Tell me, Officer Silas, what is this?" "A drinking container." "Correct. Now, what if I told you this has saved lives in combat?" During Earth's 20th century, soldiers used metal cups to dig foxholes when their tools broke. They used them to signal allies by reflecting sunlight. One soldier even used a cup to catch a grenade and throw it away before it exploded.
"James, set the mug down."
"Is this a weapon?" Silas hesitated. "It could be." The question is not, is this a weapon? The question is, can I use this to survive, to protect, to fight? You see, the Concordat builds weapons first, then creates doctrine around them. Humans do the opposite. We create doctrine, adapt, improvise, overcome. Then we make weapons from whatever exists. He showed her historical records. Humans fighting with farming tools during revolutions. Prisoners escaping using sharpened toothbrushes. Soldiers turning battlefield debris into fortifications. Throughout history, humans had always fought with whatever they had. It's not about the object, James explained. It's about the mind. A creative, desperate, determined mind can turn anything into a tool for survival. For weeks, Silas studied with James and Sarah. She learned about human adaptability. She began to understand. The Concordat had grown powerful through superior technology. They forgot how to improvise. Humans, limited by their late entry to galactic space, had never forgotten. Then everything changed. The Kresh horde attacked. They were a predatory species from beyond the galactic rim. They had no interest in diplomacy, only conquest. Their fleet struck both Concordat and human colonies simultaneously. The Concordat fleet mobilized, but they were unprepared. The Kresh used unusual tactics. Their ships were heavily shielded, and traditional Concordat weapons were barely effective. Celeste, still on Earth, contacted the Concordat High Council. Let me coordinate with the humans. We can combine our forces. The Council, desperate, agreed. The battle came at the Deneb system. Concordat warships and human vessels faced the Kresh armada. The Kresh fleet was massive. Their shields absorbed plasma fire. Energy weapons barely scratched them. Shields holding at 98%, the Kresh commander laughed. These prey are weak. Then the humans changed the game. Captain Chen, commanding a small battle group, issued unusual orders. All ships, target the asteroid field, use mining charges.
The humans fired explosive charges into nearby asteroids. The rocks shattered into thousands of pieces.
Then, human ships used tractor beams, designed for salvage operations, to hurl asteroid fragments at the Kresh fleet. The Kresh shields stopped energy weapons easily, but they weren't designed for physical impacts at high velocity. Rocks the size of cars smashed into Kresh ships at incredible speeds.
Shields flickered and failed. Now, Chen ordered.
Concordat ships fired their plasma weapons through the gaps. Kresh ships exploded. Silas, coordinating from her ship, learned fast. She ordered Concordat vessels to copy human tactics, use debris, use derelict ships as kinetic missiles, improvise. One Concordat captain rammed his damaged cruiser into a Kresh flagship. Another used their ship's industrial fabricators, machines meant to build repair parts, to create thousands of small metal spheres. They launched them like a shotgun blast. The Kresh shield stopped the first 100, but not all 10,000. The battle turned. Working together, humans and Concordat forces destroyed the Kresh fleet, using tactics the enemy never expected. Not just advanced weapons, but creativity. But Bohr.
Adaptation. Using the environment itself as a weapon.
After the victory, the Concordat formally invited humanity to join the Galactic Concordat as equals, not subjects. They also asked for help. 1 year later, the Concordat Military Academy opened a new program. Human instructors taught Concordat soldiers a revolutionary class, Applied Creative Warfare. Students called it Everything is a Weapon 101. He held up a simple coffee mug, the same one from his office. Today's lesson begins with this, he said. Who can tell me 5 ways it could save your life? The cadets stared. Then, slowly, hands began to rise. In the back of the classroom, Silas smiled. She was now a Concordat ambassador. Her mission was to spread human thinking throughout the galaxy, not human weapons, human adaptability. Because the galaxy had learned an important lesson. The most dangerous weapon isn't plasma rifles or energy shields. It's a creative mind that refuses to give up. Outside Earth, the stars shone brightly. Humanity had joined the galactic community, not as conquerors, not as subjects, but as teachers. And throughout the galaxy, species that once built weapons around doctrine, now built doctrine around creativity. Everything they learned could be a weapon in the right hands, especially human hands.